the talk and sing the rhyme. Confidence so heavy it stops time. Eyes on the prize, yeah, that's
Welcome back to another episode of the Speak Like the Boss podcast. I'm Anthony. This is Chase. Let's go with it. What do we got? What's the updates for the dating apps?
So
Give me some fun stuff.
you made a comment, and I thought about it this weekend, so it made me. I thought, I'm gonna prove a point here.
Okay.
I started swiping on everything.
Yep.
Not just
going nuts.
Single women, not just ones that weren't heifers.
Okay.
I don't know if that's YouTube kosher, but whatever.
Side note: one of our videos, the audio got deleted on one of the clips. I think it was because of the DICK word. We said it in one of the clips, and I that's all I can guess because I rewatched the clip and I was like, "What triggered it?" And that was my guess of what it was.
You're gonna have to show me which one it was because there's no way that's
One of them is mute.
There's no way. There's no way that word got it.
And it was on TikTok. I was like, interesting.
Maybe on TikTok, but you have to show me. We can review the TOS and see what's up.
Yeah. All right, but go ahead.
So I very much so widened my scope.
Perfect. Pandora's box.
I was swiping
busted wide open.
I was swiping on chicks that were, I'm like, she might be there looks wise, or like if she's got a cute face, but she's a little bigger than I would normally. I'm swiping on.
Okay.
Even a few single moms I swiped on.
Sure. Just get out on dates.
Fucking Ghost Town.
Ghost Town.
Not a single match.
Wow.
And I was sitting there, some of these chicks, like I was like, this one for sure,
Like she's desperate.
Yeah.
Right.
They could have been fat, could have been ugly. Nothing.
I wonder how many of those people are just not on their profile anymore.
And
it doesn't show how active they are, right?
That's probably part of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I saw it. Now I sent you that article snippet. Now that was a BuzzFeed article. I did find it and I read through it.
Yeah.
It's a BuzzFeed article, so take it with a grain of salt. However, when BuzzFeed is talking about like relationships and things like that, they tend to be pretty on the nose.
Okay.
15% of men, 15% of women said they would be willing to swipe right on a guy.
Yep.
Who is 5'8" or under on dating apps.
I remember the one you're talking about now. Yes.
And I thought about it.
15%.
15%. I don't know how big the sample size was. Tried to find it. Couldn't. Obviously, It's BuzzFeed. You never know. Brother. 5'8". Do you know how many women I find on these apps that are like 4'11", 5 foot, 5'2", 5'3"? I'm like, I'm still a head taller than you.
Yeah.
I could literally put 5'10" and you would never know because I'm over a head taller than you.
But we don't care about women's height. Some guys like a short girl.
No, you're right.
So it's it doesn't hurt them.
No, you're right. But the point is, why do you need someone
when you're that
come up to their waist?
Yeah, when you're that small, what does it matter? Right?
Yeah,
right. I hear what you're saying.
It's
somewhere in their caveman monkey brain that they're like, I just need the biggest, strongest dude. Still,
it's worse than that though, because it goes.
Or
back
is it a social
I
norm?
think it's a social thing,
so they can flex to their friends. Look at my big, strong guy.
That's part of it, but we also live in the era where women are taught to not settle and to go after the best thing you can get. It's like, you don't understand. These dudes are just gonna smash and pass. Like it's not. They're gonna take their turn.
But where are you coming with that information? Just because they're tall, they're gonna smash and pass?
Well, no, but statistically speaking, you have more options if you're taller.
I guess that's true.
How many women have you heard say that they won't date a guy under 6 foot?
Mm-hmm.
I can't count.
Yeah, a lot, or 5'10" at least. I've heard a lot of that. Yeah.
And you mentioned when I sent it to you, you made the comment, fuck it, just put your 5'9" on there.
Yeah, 5'9".
I should go a step further and buy those insoles that make you taller.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what my height is.
You should just put 6'9", and then when you show it, be like typo.
Oh yeah, typo.
Just 6'8".
But the thing is, like, I'll put those things. It probably make me around.
We could take a picture. I can like sit on my knees, and you can sit above me. You stand on a chair.
But no, so buy those insoles that are being flaunted to me, I guess, because Instagram hears us talking about this shit.
Sure. It's always listening.
They're supposed to give you a 3-inch boost, so it would make me 5'11", which would be tall enough.
Be almost eye level with me. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah.
But yeah, and then just go out on dates. And if it gets to the point where we go back to the house and I take that step down after stepping out of my shoes,
Yeah.
and if she makes a comment about it, just be like, what? Don't you have pictures with filters? Aren't you wearing makeup right now?
That's very true.
And see, you can help that.
That's very true.
You can help that. I can't help how tall I am.
That's true. This is your makeup.
Yeah, that's my makeup. Yeah.
This is my cosmetics.
Yeah, these are my
I had to put these on before I left the house today.
And be like, and guess what? I'm still taller than you.
That's right. That's true. Interesting.
I've seen a lot more couples at the gym the last week and a half or so.
Okay.
And it's some are, some aren't. But I've seen several cute chicks, five average looking chicks.
Yeah.
With dudes who are butt ass ugly or like a twig or just 100 pounds overweight. And I've seen the cars they drive.
They like twig guys. Twig guys are still always going to be in for some reason.
If they're taller.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, little ones are not so much. But unless they got like that skater body or something and they're just into the emo girls and they're all...
Well, sure.
Different vibe, right?
Sure, but I don't think I've seen any of those.
Okay. Not at the gym.
The only thing that is apparent that they have on me is that height. They're not better looking than me. They're definitely not in better shape than me. I've seen some of the cars that they drive.
Yeah.
They don't have a
better pictures. Have we worked on the pictures for like your profile pictures for the dating apps?
No. Okay. But I mean, there hasn't really been, without me sitting down and going, okay, I'm just going to go do something random to try to take pictures. Like nothing has come up yet in my life that it's like, okay, this is something I had planned. Let me take more pictures. There's a baby shower coming up in May that, oh no, it's not in May. It's in June. I don't know. I've been thinking about taking a vacation from work. So I might go fishing with my dad or something. And
there you go.
Take some pictures.
Take some pictures. Get some pictures taken. You just on a boat in general. That's always not bad. You know, some water. Yep.
But yeah, no.
Gather up some ugly friends and look like the stud, like we talked about last time in the group of
females.
Yep.
Speaking of seeing new chicks at the gym, I'm tired of seeing whales
at the gym
dressed like the chicks who look like they're going to shows.
Going to shows
like swimsuit competitions and bodybuilding shows and stuff.
Got it. So they're dressing the part of the gym, but their body is not ready for the part of the gym.
Oh my God, they're busting out of these clothes. Like there are two chicks in particular. Their gut is hanging out of this shit. I'm like, what the? Who told you that is acceptable to wear?
Or just, hey, that's not your size anymore.
It's not even better. It hadn't been their size for 10 years.
All right. If you bought that 3-4 years ago, maybe,
But I bet you some of them didn't. I bet you they bought it recently.
And
their friend sat there, you go, girl. You look so sexy. Oh my God. It looks so
don't you think that they're struggling to find dates too?
Yeah, but that's not it. You should not. No.
Well, I'm not saying it's it. I'm just telling you, like, from that perspective, they've got people telling them that they may look good even when it's their girlfriend's lying to them, right? And they're probably also not getting dates or people approach, especially if they look like that, their belly's hanging out. They're not getting approached.
And brother,
they're not, you know what I mean?
That Dunlap, like if a dude took her home, he could suck on it. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Like
she can rest it on the front of the treadmill.
She could probably she could probably look at herself butt naked in the mirror and she can't see none of this.
That's bad.
That's bad. Rough. And she's wearing shit where it's like hanging over. I'm like, oh my God.
That's not good.
Super tight. I like.
Not good.
It's not good. If I ever owned a gym, there would be signs everywhere about like a dress code. Be like, you must.
It's not a good look for the gym.
No.
Right? Because you don't want to see that person in the gym and go,
I mean,
there's subconsciously like a thing in there like, well, I don't want to come to this gym because I don't want to look like that. You know what I mean? Even though it's not the case, it's not reality.
There are so few people that look like that in that gym. There's a lot of, objectively speaking, men and women that are very good looking in that gym.
Yeah.
I feel very out of place.
Interesting. Okay.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, in that gym's most of the day it's popping. There's a lot of people.
People take it serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that charge a month? Just curious.
Ooh.
Is up there?
I want to say it's around $30-$40 a month.
It's not terrible.
No, it may be a little more now, but I also paid for like 6 months in advance, and it's not automatic. They said they'll call when it's time to renew and say, "Hey, do you want to renew it?" Which should be in like June or July.
Not bad.
I mean, I like it. You can go whenever you want. You just get a little key tag.
24 hours?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's good.
I was there on Easter. I went at night. I was like, I really wanted to work out today, but just the way things happen, I took a little nap and woke up. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the gym.
Yeah,
there was 3 people in there. It was great. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic gym. Not gonna say I'll tell you the location when we stop recording. But
yeah.
It's a great gym. The guy who owns it, super chill. He's a big dude too. Freaking,
they usually are.
He makes me feel so small.
Yeah.
He reps for multiple sets, 315 on incline.
Yeah.
On incline. I mean, crazy.
It's a lot of weight.
Dude. He's also big. I mean, he's probably 6'4".
Okay.
Minimum.
Big guy.
But yeah, there's a lot of good looking people that go in there. So and most of it's guys. So they probably just that meets their eye line, and they're like, oh, let me turn and look over here so I can get that testosterone back up, because there's probably a good looking chick in there.
Okay, fair enough. So dating apps kind of a bust still.
It's really rough.
Have you tried to? I know we talked about it last time. Have you tried to go anywhere outside of like during the day activities to meet people?
I thought about it. I haven't. With Easter being last weekend,
that's true.
I didn't really.
Tough.
Yeah, I didn't bother doing anything. I might do something this weekend. I don't have any plans this weekend, so I'll probably wake up Saturday and.
I'm actually free Saturday all day. So Saturday is potentially a day. I was thinking either Friday night or Saturday, but at this point it's leaning maybe all day and tonight Saturday, like a whole adventure. So we'll see how it plans out.
Try to do something.
Yeah.
I have a fun fact.
Okay, let me hear it. I like new surprises.
So at least in the state of Texas,
okay,
throwing condiments or drinks on someone
I've seen this
is considered assault. I did send it to you.
You did send it to me. That's right.
Is considered assault. And you are allowed to use any amount of non-deadly force you deem non-deadly force you deem necessary.
So one Sparta kick to the chest is okay.
Oh, brother, they can go to the ground, and if you stop when they're out cold, like you are good,
right?
So
interesting.
And it's really funny that I saw that, because I keep seeing all these. I mean, it's probably just for content, but you see a bunch of these chicks throwing drinks in dudes' faces, or like they'll go for the ketchup or something. It's like, you don't have to check your state laws, but you might not have to put up with that shit. You might
not advocating beating women, but
no. But if someone asks for it,
one steel chair to the back ain't gonna kill him.
No.
All right, fair enough. What else you got?
I keep seeing on profiles. Oh, this is probably the most cringiest thing that I've seen on a profile this week.
Okay.
She put, let's debate a top. It said the prompt was, let's debate a topic, and you're supposed to put a topic. She put anything. I love to argue, even if I know I'm wrong.
This was on a dating app?
This was on a dating app profile. On Hinge.
She's pretty much just saying, hey, I have all these red flags.
Yes.
Who wants to have
entertaining
conversation with my red flags?
It looked like 6 flags at the moment. Like,
red. She had the whole
There's no way in hell I would entertain that.
That's insane.
I started having flashbacks when I read that. I'm not kidding.
I will say I haven't done much research this week. I've been busy, obviously, with Easter and everything as well. But there was 2 things that I did see. One was the typical stuff popping up in my feed with women empowerment and stuff like that. And every time there is I don't know what else to call it, but a clickbait type phrase from women for women, like an empowerment statement, I always find myself diving into the comments. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is atrocious. And I can't wait to see how many women feed into this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's
I go
bad.
into the comments and I'm like, oh, thousands. And they all fucking agree with it. There is, and this is the real, I think the real root of all of the problems. There is no accountability from the other side.
Absolutely not.
That is the root issue that we are experiencing. Is if I do something wrong, or if I am a jackass to somebody, and I would say probably a lot of guys will own up to it. They may not tell you, they may ghost you. It was something about ghosting too. I've seen comments like that where people are talking about the one that we posted about ghosting, right? They're in there thinking that it's just the guys doing ghosting. Are you kidding me? Like, there's zero accountability from these women understanding that they do the majority of ghosting to all the right guys. And then I think one of the posts that I had seen that triggered this whole chain of events was something along the lines of, why do these guys have sex with you and then leave you and then don't talk to you ever again, or something along those lines. And it was just comment after comment from all these women talking about all this insanity. I was like, what did you do? First off, where did he meet you? What are you wearing on a daily basis? And what did you do to cause yourself? They don't even understand the concept of fun only category. They don't. None of them do.
Nope.
Like, I'm going to say probably 90% of women have no idea what that even means. And that's where their accountability comes from. That's the problem there. The other thing that I seen, if you want to watch it, and everybody else out there, I'm sure most people have watched it, they added that red balloon popping show to Netflix. I watched, they're doing a new episode every week. I watched just the first episode.
It's really hard to watch.
Oh, boy.
It's hard to watch.
Just the first episode, I was sitting there watching it with somebody. I had to do a standing ovation. Like 3 out of the 4 men pretty much told all these women they ain't shit on that show in the first episode, and they're not looking for anybody that dresses like this, acts like this. But they went and popped the girls' balloons. I was so impressed by what I seen in that first episode. I was like, I have to watch more of this, because this is the train wreck that we talk about literally every week.
Yeah.
Like, if you have some sort of opinion about our show, you see this in a clip, you feel like you got triggered by something that we said at some point, watch that show and understand, take it from an outside perspective. And if you're a girl, watch that show and see how those women act and what they say and why there is a problem. Because the guys on that show, they get balloons popped on them just from walking out. They don't do anything. They just walk out.
Oh, you don't look like you're 6 feet. And then one guy's like, I just got measured at the DMV. So
I don't remember the exact number. I think there was 4 guys, if I remember. It's been a little while since I watched it. 3 of the guys were kind of your good-looking, obviously get girls kind of guys. One guy was a little bit huskier. He was a black guy, shorter, right? They popped this balloon for this guy right away. Almost all of them, except for like 1 or 2. And then he comes out and he's like, I do work with children. And he's like, he's got all this great stuff. And he's like, I have my own business. And he checked all the boxes except for that looks category when he walked out. And all of these girls excluded him before he can even open his mouth. It was insane.
It's always a chain reaction too. It's that confirmation bias. They always, I don't know if you've heard I mean, I'm sure you have. But a lot of people like to say that you need to be around other women that want you for other women to want you.
That's right. That's right.
At least on a subconscious level.
They look for validation from their peers.
Yeah, and at least on a subconscious level, I think the reason why so many women pop at the same time on that show is because they're sitting there thinking about whether or not this guy's worth it or not. And then as soon as one chick pops their balloon, it's like, oh, that's good enough for me. Pop.
Right. And then they just move on from there.
Yeah.
And the one guy, I'd say, the guys that they brought on were not just randoms. They were guys from other reality shows in the past. So they're like D-grade celebrities at best, like pseudo celebrities almost. Like, you may have seen him on TV on whatever trash TV show. But one guy comes out. He was like the third or fourth one. Tall, 6'3", does boxing, in great shape, right? Whole thing, younger guy. Of course, most of the girls left their balloons open when he came out. Slowly started popping. He had like a couple available at the end, and by the time it was down to him and just like two others, he was just like, I don't want any of them, I'm done. Like, I was like, man, it was impressive. I got to see if all the other episodes continue like that. But it was also very cringy at the same time. Because I couldn't, I almost threw up in my mouth listening to some of the things the women were saying.
It's ridiculous.
It's bad. It was bad.
Being a guy who is trying to date women.
Yeah, it was just
actively and not just get around, but find somebody to be with. It makes it hard not to feel some kind of way, knowing that the majority of women you're going to approach think like that or they just live in delusions so much that they think it's okay to think like that or to talk like that or to say things like that.
And I always throw the caveat in there that I know that that's not all women.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Unfortunately, it is the majority of the outspoken women that we are dealing with, or the ones in the dating realm.
It's like you told me last week. Yeah. I'm severely limiting my potential options for dating.
Correct.
Which is because of things like that, which is terrible to think about because where's the standard? How low has the bar dropped?
Right. I seen a post on our local like city page that I'm a part of. There's probably somewhere between 20 to 50,000 people in it. It's a good chunk. Something about where does all the single people hang out here? Literally about 90% of the comments was home.
Yeah.
Home, at home.
Yeah.
People were like, what kind of bartenders do they have at home? They don't know it. Like, how do we get out and meet these people that are all at home? Like, and they're all single. They were like, oh, I hang out at home. Well, my message to all you stupid people at home, don't comment on a singles post about we just stay at home but why can't we find anybody if you're not actively doing anything to find anybody?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. There's so many. I've heard at least 3 times this week the phrase from women, he's gonna find me.
Oh my God.
What are you doing to find
triggering.
your perfect dream man? He's gonna find me. Not with what you're doing, not with your behaviors. He's not gonna find you. Not if you're dressing a certain way, acting a certain way, posting a certain way, making dumb comments like he's gonna find you. Why? Why would he find you? You know what he's gonna find? He's gonna find a piece of ass and he's gonna hit it and leave.
You see that on dating profiles a lot. I'm
Holy
looking for my
shit.
soulmate. I'm looking for a cowboy.
It's crazy. The delusion is insane. And I know that it's not just on one side. It's a different kind of delusion on the other side. Men that know what they're dealing with. But there are a lot of men that don't know what they're dealing with. There's a lot of men that fall into this category of thinking they're just every girl that they approach and talk to because she's pretty, she's going to be his princess.
Yeah.
And he's got to treat her as such. And then they get walked all over and left and et cetera, go on from there, but used for money, whatever it may be. I don't know. Go into your topics. We went on a rant.
It is what it is, man. I can't tell you how many people I've seen on, I should say women. I don't look at men on dating profiles, but
yeah,
how many women? I'm looking for my Prince Charming to sweep me off my feet. Is chivalry still dead?
I'd be curious to make a profile looking for men as a single woman. Like I'll make a fake single woman profile and just to see what kind of men are out there.
You're going to get, I mean, we know how to make the profile look. We would get, by the end of the day, we would have a few hundred swipes.
In there on our DMs ready to try and take us out. Yeah, that's true. Well, not from that perspective, just what kind of quality of men? Like, what do their pictures look like? What do the men's pictures look like? What is you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do their profiles look like? What does it look like from the other perspective of the women going into these dating apps? That's what I'd be curious to see.
I mean, that might be an interesting
it's an interesting observation
for content.
Yeah, I have to think about that and figure out a good way to do it. Maybe borrow somebody who knows pictures or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Or just make a bunch of AI pictures.
I can do that too. Yeah, you definitely do that. What you got?
So you wanted to talk about deal breakers.
Yep. Let's talk about some deal breakers.
Do you want to preface that with anything or just get into it?
Do you have majority men or women? You said men deal breakers?
In terms of dating women, these are things that would be deal breakers for me.
So let's preface it by saying that if you're a woman, these are deal breakers that most men, I would say, I don't know what you put, but I'm going to say would place you into the fun only category and would deal break ever taking you seriously as a relationship / future wife.
Yeah. If even continuing to entertain you.
Even right after whatever, sexual access or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty self-explanatory. What do you got for the first one?
Posting provocative photos on social media.
Yeah, that's a big one. And
wearing provocative clothing when you're out.
Yeah, I mean, either way. So they kind of go hand in hand, but they're also different at the same reason. So let's start with in person. Wearing provocative clothing when you're out. Reason that's obviously a problem, an issue, is because if you are, not when you're single, do what you want. But once you find that man that you want to settle down with, you shouldn't be advertising, which is what you're doing yourself when you're going out in a certain way. And I've heard the argument, well, I want to look good for me, or I want to, it's not for him, or it's not for the other guys, or whatever it may be. But that's not true. You may think that, but again, you're not living in Michelle's bubble or whoever, in Allison's bubble. You're living in the reality of the world. And the reality of the world is you're interacting with hundreds of women, hundreds of men every day, and everybody is going to judge you. And I know that people will say, well, I don't care what other people think. Great.
You do if you want to be in a long-term committed relationship.
That's the answer, right? So the only people that you should care about what they think is yourself and your family and your man. That's it. Other than that, don't care. But if your man doesn't want you to wear those revealing clothes, which he shouldn't if he actually cares about you, unless you're being placed in the fun only category, then he's not going to care. If a man, let me put this out there. If a man actually loves you and actually wants to take you seriously and actually wants to build a future with you, he has to care about those things. If he does not care what you do and you're like, oh, my man's so confident, he's so secure, he lets me do whatever I want, he don't give a fuck about you. I'm going to tell you right now, he does not care. He's using you until something better comes along, or you mess up so much that he says, get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
Or he just drives you crazy to the point where you kick him out and he don't have to do the hard part of breaking up with you. Mm-hmm. And he just goes about on his business.
Yep.
He's not going to get rid of you on his own because you are still giving him sexual access, regardless of your bad behavior. Your bad behavior is what's going to stop you from being taken seriously in a real relationship. That is the difference. Taking that into social media, Instagram is the #1 dating app in the world. So if you're posting provocative pictures on there, you are essentially looking for other suitors. There's no other way around that. Unless somebody is physically paying you dollars to promote on Instagram as a social media influencer, you're doing it for free and you're doing it for other people's attention.
And you hear like you said, you hear the argument a lot. I'm doing it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you understand it or not, you are still signaling to other men.
Yeah.
To other people.
Correct.
That you are free, you are available. Excuse me. You are
especially if you're taking pictures without your man.
Yeah, absolutely. Or a huge thing that I find a red flag as well, while we're on the topic of social media.
Yep.
Is you see a woman who has a lot of pictures by herself on vacation. I want to know who's taking those pictures, who paid for that vacation.
Yep.
You get a lot of time. I take myself on vacation all the time. Okay, what are you doing?
You are bottle service, stripper, or some sort of extracurricular work, probably sex work of some kind, to be able to make a decent amount of money to go on vacation, unless you just have a high-paying career. There are women that have high-paying careers.
Yeah,
but if you're 22 and look fantastic in a bikini, you probably don't have a high-paying career yet. You're probably still in college. You're probably still figuring your life out. It's just the facts. There are exceptions, but you're the minor 0.0001%.
And just like if someone asked you to put your hand in a bowl of Skittles and take a handful, if there's 10 out of 100 poisonous Skittles in the bowl, you'd be a fool to reach your hand and eat any of those, right?
It's a great example.
So why on God's green earth would any man who understands how women move and understands how the real world is, why would they take you seriously? Why would they give you the benefit of that doubt?
That's true. That's a good point. Yes, you're automatically looked at in a certain light. So if the right man, the one you actually want, charming, good looking, the whole thing, got everything together, got his money right, comes into your life or meets you or comes across your path or comes across your Instagram or any of those things, he's going to have a preconceived notion of who you are as a person based off your pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He may never even get the chance to meet you and find out how genuine your soul is or what your vibe is or any of this other voodoo garbage that you like to spout, because you're missing the opportunity before you even get in the door because of what you're doing beforehand. If you want something in this life, and this comes with everything, whether it's a job, whether it's a family, any endeavor that you have to do, you have to prepare and plan for that thing. You go to school and get a degree so that you can get a job. You build your credit and save your money so that you can buy a house. It's the same thing with a marriage, but women, for some reason, have lost this. If you want the actual man that you want and you want to stop dealing with bums, then you need to get your life in order and do the pre-work to get there. You have to limit your exposure to other people. You have to do all of the right things to get there. When you start messing up and checking the boxes and having a high body count and posting provocative pictures and going on random vacations with dudes all over the world, guess what? Mr. Right's not going to find you no more. It's done.
You may say, the argument I hear a lot is, well, that's not fair. That's a double standard. Yeah. So life's not fair. Just like how I'm 5'8" and apparently only 15% of women will swipe on me and I can't even help it.
Go back like 2 or 3 episodes where we listed off a 20 double standards.
Yeah.
The life is full of double standards. It is what it is. I'd love to go out and have some drinks tomorrow night for free and have some chick buy them for me all night. But guess what? That's not going to happen.
No.
So double standard.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What else? I mean, it is what it is. So that's the biggest thing as far as the dating apps go. If you have anything else you want to add to it, but it is a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one that you started with that one. Who's next?
I wrote this one down after I saw that profile.
Okay.
Argumentative
for a woman. Yeah. If you're specifically starting arguments, I did hear, I listened to, I forget which podcast I was listening to, but somebody brought up their girlfriend or significant other or a girl that they were dating, and she specifically went out of her way to say, oh, I like arguing, just kind of similar to what you said on your profile there. It's just, nobody wants that. Why? They said the reason that they did it was for, don't you want better makeup sex? They were purposely starting arguments, this woman, to have makeup sex because they found the makeup sex more exciting. That was the reasoning for why they wanted to be argumentative and why they thought it was a good thing.
That's the kind of chick that'll baby trap you.
Boy.
So what I was really thinking about whenever I agree with what you said. What I was thinking about when I wrote this down is, how many times have you dated a woman and you say, hey, we're going to go do this, or like you have to make a decision, right?
Yep.
Well, why? Well, how come not? Okay, I don't want to have to sit here and explain this to you. And granted, I understand you want to, you want me to try to help you understand my viewpoint.
Yeah.
But sometimes, especially if we're paying the bills, we really just want you to say okay and go along with it. If you question your boss at work, do you keep your job?
But I'm gonna give both two sides of that coin. I understand as a man what you're coming from because we understand it from our perspective where the men should make majority of the decisions. That doesn't mean we won't ask for your input sometimes on things that have to deal with the both of us. But for the most part, men in a relationship dictate the final say on a lot of things. They're usually a little more financially sound. Most debt in America is held by women, a substantial amount, right? Women can't figure out what they want to eat. They have emotional issues when they have their periods throughout the month, right? So there are things that trigger their decision-making skills. So for the most part, the men should make majority of the decision. Now, there's going to be a ton of women that watch this or hear these clips and say, hell no, I'm not listening to no man. And I get that side of it because you don't want, from that perspective, they're not going to be able to verbally explain this probably, but they don't want to give up control of their lives to somebody that they're just testing out in the dating phase.
Right, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody who you're committed to, some guy that you really like that is paying your bills.
But they can't do that. That's the problem. They can't commit. It's almost like their accountability. They also can't commit.
So you can listen to a fucking boss dictate your life, and they would cut you off.
He pays them,
and they would. If I'm paying your bills, I'm paying you.
That's true. That's true.
So
they would. I think women would be more likely to listen to a man that's paying their bills. But the problem is most men don't have the ability to do that.
You are correct. However,
that's the side.
How many women have you seen or heard of in a situation where a man is paying her bills and she won't listen to him and she wants to argue?
I'm gonna tell you, it's not as common as the other way.
Right, exactly.
Those are the minorities. If a guy has it enough to pay the bills, two things are either happening. Either she's listening or she's the dominant one in the relationship to begin with, and she's just running all over him. There's usually no in between.
I disagree. I hear way too many women who either have dated guys like that and they were broken up with, or they talk about, well, it doesn't matter. You know, I want a man that does this, pays all the bills, has everything I want, but for lack of a better way to put it, my submission is still going to be questionable. You know, I will still pick and choose when I offer submission. Okay. In other words, I'm not going to argue. I will pick and choose when don't argue with them. Right. Yeah. Right. And we're not talking about having a discussion. We're not. I think
it's just more often when they're not paying the bills. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
When there's a guy who can't afford to pay the bills, those arguments increase tenfold.
Yeah. So I paid the bills for most of the time that I was living with the last chick that I lived with. Yeah. And whenever we were going to Oklahoma for one time, we were staying at this podunk RV park, just at like a little camping site. Yeah. And she was trying to bring all these extension cords and the power strips. I think I mentioned that before. And she wanted, I even explained to her why it wouldn't work, the scientific factual evidence of why this won't work. Right. And how we have tried this before and it didn't work.
By daisy chaining all the extension cords, you're saying? Is that what she was attempting to do? Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, and she had to argue. Even after I tried to drop it, she still wanted to argue about it. She
didn't understand that she was wrong. Your explanations were not good enough to make her say, "Oh, you're right."
That is not the case.
That was not the case. Arguing just to argue.
Yes, I straight up look.
Bad faith argument.
A bad faith argument, right? Okay. And you can kind of squeeze this into argumentative, but there are too many women who can't admit when someone is smarter than them or when their man is right and they're wrong, right? At least women that aren't getting wiped up.
It's fair. I haven't dated too many of those. I will tell you. I don't run into those all that often. When I speak, they usually...
Unfortunately, they're like, that's like all I've dated. And even this one, she would admit that I was smarter than her. Yeah. And she would... But she felt the need to challenge me still, to quote unquote keep me on my toes or keep me in check. I'm like, bitch, I don't need you to keep me in check. Yeah. But anyway, I straight up told her, look, at the hospital, we tried to do this, and we tripped the breaker at the hospital, just putting 2 extension cords on it. I'm like, you want to run 2 extension cords and then plug in a power strip and then put another power strip into that power strip.
That's not how that works.
I'm like, it's not going to work. We're going to some junky RV park. Yeah. We may get...
You can't even do that in most houses.
Exactly.
Something.
It's an RV park. Yeah. I'm like, I'm telling you, it didn't work just with 2. You want to do this with like 4 different things here.
Let me play devil's advocate since I wasn't there and the viewers weren't there, right? And say, how much of this argument continued because you wanted to prove that you were right?
So,
did she shut up and you were just told her what it was?
No. So the conversation went like I just told you, right? Okay. And I was like, we tried this. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. And I got a second. It's an RV park. I hope she sees this on like Insta or something. That'd be so funny. And I said, okay, that's fine. You can pack them. Whatever. And I tried to walk off, and she kept following me, wanting to fight over this until I was like screaming at her.
Jesus.
I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you're not going to listen to me, fine, take it. You'll find out when we get there. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Bro, there were so many situations like that.
You know what I find when we talk about these things and like it's kind of like become a weekly occurrence? This one girl triggered a lot of these bad behaviors for you.
I learned.
She's like the walking red flag for you.
She opened my eyes to a lot of things.
There's always one. There's always one girl you run across that's like, oh, so this is what they do.
Now, seriously, most women that I've dated and been in a relationship with are walking red flags. But this one, like, I just thinking about it after that, just an epiphany on so many things. And it just...
That's why dating is so hard. Because even if you finally land one that actually likes you back, who's to say that they're not damaged? And this goes for men and women. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once you finally pick one, the women finally decide on the one guy out of the 100, the chances that you pick the wrong one are pretty high.
And then, or you get one that's alpha widowed. Have you ever heard that term? Alpha widowed?
Alpha widowed, no.
She dated a guy in her past who she genuinely thought was the one. He was just perfect on all, good sex, attractive.
My mom.
I've alpha widowed at least one girl. Even at my subpar.
I've probably done that too, I'm sure.
You definitely have. I've seen it at least 3.
Yeah.
But anyway,
oops, sorry.
But yeah, these girls just think that's the guy, and they don't know how to act in a committed relationship. They don't treat him like he's that guy, and so they break up with him for one reason or another, or 10 reasons or another.
Yeah,
and they just can't ever get that guy off their mind. They're stuck on him, but they'll move on and quote unquote settle.
Oh, of course,
settle, but that's a standard that you'll never meet.
Right. Right. I've seen that even with more higher influential people. They date a guy who's very well off and a celebrity, and then they think that that's their new standard when in reality that was the exception.
I dated a girl when I was younger, much younger. I won't give any more specifics than that just in case this ever comes up. But brother, we had kind of a bad breakup.
Okay.
And at one point, I did think I might potentially marry this chick foolishly in my young and dumb and testosterone-filled mind.
We all have those when we're younger.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of guys do marry them, but
Well, we broke up, and it was kind of bad. But
who broke up with who?
So the first time it was her, the second time it was me. And I don't want to give any more details than that because if that person ever sees this, they're going to know exactly who I'm talking about.
Try to throw bows.
Okay. I'll tell you after exactly what happened. That was kind of like the nail in the coffin. But anyway, the next 3 or 4 guys she dated, every time she was done with them, she was hitting me up, wanting to see me, wanting me to, And I'm like...
this is something that we have not discussed yet on the podcast, but we should bring up now that you've mentioned it. Women go back to familiar. I'm trying not to get us banned. Women go back to familiar members.
Yeah.
Right? Familiar rods.
Yeah.
rather than jump around to new rods.
I heard that this week as well.
So
yeah.
they always find one to fall back on.
Yeah.
That's a familiar. They know it's going to be good in bed. You know what I mean? And they also know that the dynamic of their relationship is that let me just get in, do our thing, and then we can part ways and still be friends after.
Well, it's not just that. It's and this is coming from a woman.
Yeah.
They're also thinking, well, I can get it in, but I'm not adding a body.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. That's essentially what I was saying. It doesn't count as an extra body. It's just it's a way for them to feel like they still have emotional connection to somebody without having to seek out new partners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let new people in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask them, a lot of the times they would rather give one guy 100 chances than would rather give 100 chances to different people.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're the opposite. We would rather try 100 different women than give one chick that keeps messing up 100 chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, I guess it depends on the guy. If he doesn't think he has options, then
correct. That's part of it. I would say if a guy has options,
if a guy has options,
he's
yes.
absolutely going to choose multiple women every time. He's not going to sit around and deal with some bullshit.
Yeah.
If a guy is a loser and he's an incel and he doesn't ever get anywhere with anybody, then yeah, absolutely, he's going to settle and take a bunch of bullshit that he shouldn't be dealing with. What else you got since we're running along here already? Like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Someone who can't control their emotions.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
And now I understand.
It's like
I understand.
It's a coin flip.
I understand women tend to be a lot more emotional.
Yeah.
It may be harder for them to control it, especially if they've never had
They won't admit it.
Yeah. Well, especially if they've never had a man in their life ground them and make them act right.
That's true.
And you're going to have to deal with some kind of emotional instability, and that's not a bad thing. That's just how women are wired. So probably get hate for that in the comments, but bring it. I mean, that's seriously just like a fact of life to me. Like, there's going to be some kind of bullshit in that regard you're going to have to put up with any woman,
right?
But like, if you go on like 2 dates with a girl and you kiss her one time, and then you're just like, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. And she just unloads on you and how she really cared about you and how sick you are and this, that, all this kind of bullshit. Yeah, no, you're just making me think that I
made the right choice.
A silver bullet. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like if you get into a disagreement and you say something that you know is going to cut deep and you use his vulnerabilities against you, like you told him something that, I won't repeat what it is, but the girl we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Every time she would say the same thing and just go for the throat. I'm like, where did that even come from? Like, I'm not even upset with you. Well, I'm upset with you now, but yeah. I'm like, this was a civil discussion about something, and you had to break out the knives and go there.
Right. And go for the jugular with it.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I am sort of an angry person. Not that I can't control my emotions, but
emotional intelligence goes both ways. It's a good trait to have, to be able to control anger. And so we talked about it last time a little bit, is starting to stay mellow.
Yeah,
no matter what the situation is. So.
But I definitely feel, at least I
two times already.
It appears that I feel like I get. Like I feel anger more than or quicker than most people. Mm-hmm. And I see it in my dad too. So, I mean, it's probably somewhat genetic, somewhat learned.
Just the hot-headed mentality.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I keep it under control as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I can't be with a woman like that. I've got to be with someone more mellow, someone who's sweeter and
right.
Yeah,
I mean that's definitely a plus. That's like that's one of those things you don't find until after you're kind of dating them for a while, though.
Yeah,
you'll find the situation that triggers them, and you're like, "Whoa, where did that come from?"
I mean, I get that, but someone who they're not gonna go for that.
They're not gonna go to like the low blow spot every time there's an argument. Like you argued about like you ordered the wrong Chinese food or something, and she's starts talking about how your shit childhood impacted your decisions in life.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Is it me, or is it the fact that your father didn't pay enough attention to you when you were a child?
You're just an asshole. And I don't like chicken in my lo mein.
Yeah, just shit like that.
Yeah.
What
you got next?
Which kind of goes into this: women who threaten ultimatums.
Mm.
I have.
There's literally that show also.
Yeah.
I don't think the ultimatum. It's like on season 3 now.
Yeah.
That show's another triggering one for me.
I have had so many women call my bluff, and I just don't talk to them anymore. And they get so pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck did you expect? You literally gave me an ultimatum. Do you really think I'm going to come crawling back to you? No. I'm going to talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, you have not done anything to make me think you're worth it. And adding on top of that, if you are really worth it, you wouldn't have to give me an ultimatum. Right? No matter what the situation is.
Sure.
Whether it's like you want to pick where we go on vacation, or even something as stupid as, like where we go to dinner, or something as serious as we're going to live here and not there, or like you have to get rid of your dog, kind of thing.
Rather than give an ultimatum, there should be a reasoning for why. You know what I mean? Like there should be a process before you get to the ultimatum. Like, this is what I want to do. Here's why I want to do it. This is why I think it's best for us, not just for me. Right? If you can go through that process and step by step explain why you've come to that decision, why this should be what we do, and then listen to my retorts and say, this is why I think we should not do that. This is why somewhere there's got to be a middle ground in that conversation of it's not the right time, or it's not the right move, or it's not the right choice, whatever that looks like. But if you get to the point where there's an ultimatum, you've given up on discussion.
Yes.
That's realistically what it is. You've given up on the choice of, I'm going to come up with a rational, mutually beneficial decision between the two of us, me and my partner. Like, if I can't do that, then I'm just saying, well, it's my way or go fuck yourself. That's never the answer.
No.
And that's why that show is so enlightening for me, because I get it. When I see a woman go on that show and she's giving the man the ultimatum, right? I get it, because she's like, I'm wasting my time if you're not going to be the guy that wants to settle down, because the guy is supposed to give out the ring. So I 100% agree with the ladies that go on that show and they're giving their guy the ultimatum. Granted, it shouldn't have gotten to that point. You should have figured it out like we just talked about, but I get it. Like, hey, go date other women if you want, figure it out. And if you still want me at the end, then let's put the ring on and go move on. It makes sense from that perspective. What it doesn't make sense from is the guys bringing their women on that show. That shit blows my mind. He's basically saying, hey, go live with another dude who's going to try and get in your drawers for the next 3 weeks. And let's just not talk so that you can come and marry me. What makes that girl so special that you're going to go through all this craziness? If she doesn't want to marry you, dude, that should be the one thing women are trying to do, is secure a ring.
Even if she is,
that doesn't make any sense.
Even if she is, you got to be some kind of stupid to let your woman do some dumb shit 100%. Like that.
These girls are on here. Dude, have you watched it?
I've watched like one episode.
Okay, I watched the first 2 seasons completely, from start to finish. Season 1's the best. Season 2 was awful.
How did you not go insane watching that?
And I got about 3 episodes into season 3 and gave up. I'll tell you, this is the biggest thing that I see. When the episode starts, if you have somewhat been in the dating world for any amount of time like I have, I can tell you which girl is the biggest hoe out of all of them the moment they're on the TV screen the first time.
Oh, yeah, immediately.
And then 30 minutes into the episode, she's choosing the biggest black guy to go and fucking deal with for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't even make sense. Like, how obvious. And of course, let's sit here and watch how it plays out. The guy is the one who gave her the ultimatum.
Yeah.
Imagine she doesn't want to marry you. Do you know why, stupid? Because she's not the one. She's not ready. She's still living her hot girl summer. And then let's just fast forward. Oh, look, episode 4, she's snuggling and making out in bed with the dude, the big black guy. Yeah. Surprise. We knew where this was going to go from the moment this damn show started. It's crazy.
Stupid.
It's madness. And I'm sure some of it's scripted. I'm not a big enough fool to say that, of course, We're looking for drama. We're looking for heightened reactions, right? It's the same thing we do. I say some wild shit sometimes. I believe a lot of it, but I still say some wild shit in a tone that comes out to be clickbaity or whatever it comes out as. But yes, I mean, go ahead. What are you guys?
So we kind of talked about girls going on trips. So I'll just kind of quickly say going on girls' trips.
Yeah.
Huge red flag. I saw a chick on Instagram. She posed, I guess it came from TikTok.
Okay.
But she talked about something about how she just got off the phone with her husband or whatever, her man, about whatever they did. And he was at, just, I hope you have so much fun, this, that, and the other, when he doesn't know that Raul, the bartender, just blew my guts out last night or something like that. It's like, one, you have to be some kind of sick to post that on social media.
That's true. To expose yourself like that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And two, and stupid. Oh my God.
Because you know it's going to see that if it goes viral.
Yeah.
If you get the reaction that you're looking for posting it, because you're not just posting it for your girlfriends. You're hoping that it goes crazy.
Yeah.
Unless you're just trying to leave that guy and you don't care, right? But
and two,
going back to Raul.
yeah. And two, what a hoe. What a hoe.
Yeah.
What a hoe. Like, that's why, and that exactly is why.
There's a lot of that out there.
Ladies, that is why men do not want you going on trips with your girlfriends. If you want to go on vacation with me. If you don't want to go on vacation with me, we need to have a serious discussion.
I've seen it, just to add on to that in a different light. Unless you're financially well off to the point where going on a vacation doesn't make a dent in your pocketbooks as a couple, most people, if they're going to go on vacation, it's something that they save for. The average American doesn't just go on a bunch of vacations all year, right? They go on one a year, whatever it is, or one every other year, whatever it may be, whatever they can afford. And they do so as a family usually. If you're dipping into the family's finances to do something greedy for yourself that does not have to do with your man, does not give any benefit to your man, that's a problem. Regardless of whether you're going to behave on the trip or not, separate entity altogether. Because I know the women will come back and say he's just insecure, he doesn't trust me. Great.
You damn right I don't trust you.
Right. But that's a side note. Let's look at it from a different perspective so the women can understand it. Why are you going to go spend $2,000 of our money that we're trying to start a life with together to go on something for yourself that's only going to benefit you? While I have to stay here and work and hang out and take care of the kids or do whatever it is that we do at home. You know what I mean? Without you. Worry about where you're at every night, if you're safe. It's my job as the man to protect you. If you're going to be in another fucking country for a week, how am I supposed to do that? You're literally breaking the code of what a relationship dynamic is supposed to be by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And if your man is okay with you doing that, it's not that he's secure. It's that he doesn't give a fuck about you.
Or he's just an idiot.
He's just an idiot. It's that too. He's just probably a beta male and is not willing to protect you if it push came to shove anyway. That's really what it comes down to. So it's a good point to bring up.
I'll try to go through the major ones.
Yep.
Unable to budget or spend an unreasonable amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you got for it? Like, what are your thoughts?
So I immediately just think of whenever I was sitting at home visiting my parents,
okay,
having a discussion with the chick
Same
I've been
one.
talking about.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's just, she holds the candle for
you have no
girlfriend of the
idea.
year, huh?
You
Girlfriend of
have-
the century.
You have no idea.
All right.
Trying to over text and I like a couple of phone calls talk about how she wants to get a house so bad and how like I was still making like $40,000 a year. She was about to be a first year teacher and immediately was already wanting to buy a house and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have no savings, you have so much debt to pay off, and you want to get a new car?
It's rough.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't get a house right now. And she's like, oh, we can get this, whatever. And she's like,
She's more of a do now, worry about the problems later kind of girl. And a lot of them are.
yes. And finally, I was like, okay, send me what you think we can afford. And she sent it to me. And so I spoke to someone who is an underwriter for home loans that we both know.
Okay.
And I was like, look, I need you to help me explain this because I know we can't afford it, but I don't know how to
break it down.
articulate it to her. Right.
Sure.
And so she showed me and she was like, this is what you're going to be paying each month. She's like, I would never recommend for you guys to buy a house until you make like an extra $20,000+ because of whatever.
Right.
And so I broke it down the exact same way. I took a bunch of notes and like I showed her how to calculate it and everything. And she was livid at me that I was shitting on her dream of buying a home.
You know why? I'll tell you why. I'm going to dive into women's psychology for you here. Sometimes you're right. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. You're right on what you did, but your approach was incorrect.
Look, I was very, you can say it all you want. I was very kind about it. I approached
it doesn't matter
how she reacts.
It doesn't matter.
I approached it very cautiously. I was very kind about it. I was like, look, I know you want to do this. This is something we can work towards, but we need to save at least 20 grand.
The way that you should interpret that situation with most women, some will take what you're giving them. The logically sound ones will listen to you and go, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Few and far between.
There's many of those.
Yeah.
Most women are going to want you to tell them, that's great. This house is beautiful. That's exactly what I want too. We just can't afford it yet.
Well, that's what I
This is what the minimum payments are. Let's work towards it. Let's try to save X dollar. And then let's re-talk about this conversation.
Well, and that's what I told her. I said,
so that way we can buy it together.
Well, that's what I told her. I said, this is not yet. Yeah. Like, I want to do this with you too, but we need to be financially sound. I was like, I'm not going to be stuck in a situation where I'm like, we're literally dying just to pay a mortgage.
When you say not financially sound, a lot of women will take it as we're never going to get there because they don't see the future of either you or them making substantially more money than they're already making, especially if she's already going into a new teaching role. She knows what she's going to be making.
But I had a solution. I was like, in 1 year, we can save 20 grand. I was like, and then we can do it in a year. That wasn't good enough.
That's not bad.
And that wasn't good enough for her.
She also might have just been the walking red flag that you make her out to be.
Brother, she makes Six Flags look like nothing.
She's the United Nations. What do you want me to do?
Yes, United Nations, and it's all red.
China.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of Russia in there.
Yep.
No.
Imagine.
I hung up the phone, and up until this point, I genuinely thought panic attacks were just people being wussies.
Yeah.
I broke down, like legit had a panic attack, and my mom sat there and she was like, "It's okay, you know." If you don't think she's the one, you don't have to stay with her.
No,
whatever.
Course.
Like, you guys haven't done it yet, so it's not it's not a done deal. All this kind of stuff. I'm like, God, like this woman is going to ruin my life before I even really get started.
Yeah.
And so like that's really just where I went with that. You, especially if you're not making the majority of the money, you have to control your spending and you have to listen to your man if he's saying that this is not a good financial decision.
She thought because she was about to make all the money, she can start taking over the role.
Make on a teaching salary, it was nothing.
Still probably what, 55?
55, yeah.
Yeah, it was more than what you were making at the time. So that's why I'm saying she put her big girl pants on and said, well, I'm making all the money now.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything whenever I just spent the last year
paying all the bills.
Paying literally all the bills so you could finish school.
But that's men are very different on that. We're willing to do that for women. They'll never do that really for us.
You know, I always say I messed up. I should have strung her along a little bit longer than I did because she kept saying she's going to pay me back. She's going to pay me back. She's going to pay me back. I'm like, she's probably going to do it at Christmas. And I broke up with her in November, like right before Thanksgiving.
You fucked up.
Yeah. I should have kept going at least for like another
Christmas gift.
Yeah. Like
that Christmas bonus.
I should have gone another 3 to 6 months, but, and just gotten that and then been like, okay, we're done. Okay. But at the time I cared too much about, and I was
your
just
mental
like,
stability there.
A little bit of static there. No, I was just like, it wasn't that. It was just more like, I would feel too bad if I did this to her. Now I'm like, damn, should have done it. Not doing a heartbeat. Not that I would put myself in that situation again, but in a heartbeat. Like if I could talk to my younger self, I'd be like, motherfucker, you better hold on, friend. You get that money.
Want to wrap up on one more?
Yes.
What you got?
These three kind of go hand in hand, so I'll just name them off.
Okay.
Not wanting children.
Okay.
Not being on the same page when it comes to how to raise those children.
Yep.
and refusing to get along with my family.
Yeah, there's all two going to go along. So give me your take first. I'm sure you ran into this. That's why you're bringing it up.
So it is innate in all men to want to have children, whether they realize it or not. As soon as you start accepting, assuming
Mortality.
Mortality, or you assume responsibility, you will most likely decide that you want children. Not all men, most men. You are biologically inclined to reproduce. A lot more so than women.
I will say I never thought I would want one until it was there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had so many men who have kids tell me, like, you just don't realize how empty your life is until you have kids.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
We've discussed this before. Women, for some reason, have it, because of social programming, have it stuck in their head that they don't want kids, they don't want kids, they don't want kids. And then, that biological clock strikes midnight. Now it's time to hurry up and have a kid. Yeah. And then what? You're screwed, right? So understand.
I could see it from that perspective too, though, is they could have been a lot like me, where they didn't know they wanted them all the way up until their later years in life. And of course it's too late for them, but it's the moment where the child is actually there where you go, oh, I'm so glad I did this.
Yeah. I've heard that too from women.
That's I get that perspective because I went through it, So.
Yeah. But you're also a dude. We can wait till we're 60 and still have kids.
We can. I agree. Like if I guess you have to come up with that decision sooner as a woman, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You don't even have to be able to get it up at 60. You can take like some pill.
That's true.
And if you're swimmers,
I'm just saying, take the act of making them out of it. It's the actual desire to have them is what I can relate with, is what I'm saying.
And again, I would argue that the only reason that people would decide that they don't want kids is mainly social programming.
Yeah.
Not being on the same page when it comes to raising children. I've seen people divorce over it. I have seen people stay together and they're just miserable because the kids grow up and you can clearly see that it's a shit show, but dad's doing his best because they didn't have the discussion ahead of time. They weren't on the same page with that shit. Yeah. And I've seen so many kids turn out terrible because, and not that all women are make bad decisions when it comes to raising kids, but like
they're usually just too soft.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to. There's not enough discipline in the household without the man.
Yeah,
figure.
She either undermines him.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about just in a divorced situation. In a divorce situation, it's even worse.
Right.
But when in a nuclear family, even there wasn't enough discussion and expectations put forth ahead of time. So you see a lot of times the man just ends up shrugging his shoulders and being like, I can't do anything about it. He gives
up because she runs the household and he just goes to work and doesn't want to have any arguments when he get home.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's insanely unfair to children.
It is.
And refusing to get along with my family, I know everyone's family isn't as great as mine. My family is fantastic. My immediate family is fantastic. I will exclude a few members that I'm not going to say on the podcast, but
of course,
my immediate family is fantastic. I had it rough growing up. Again, I won't get into that either, but my relationship with my parents is healthy. My relationship with my siblings is healthy. We get along great. My little brother's about to have a kid. My sister has 4. And, we're all just one big happy family. We love each other. If something needs to be said, we will tell each other and we'll hear you out. Well, for the most part, we'll hear you out. There's something I need to talk to my little brother on and haven't gotten the chance yet because he kind of shot down everybody else. I'm like, no, I'm going to beat this into you right now. But anyway.
Okay.
He... For the most part, I mean, super inviting, super welcoming to anybody, even if they see the red flags. They'll tell me after kind of thing, but they'll still be nice. They'll still be kind. Even all the shit that the ex in particular that I've talked about the most today.
So you're saying bringing all this up because the red flag is when she doesn't want to be a part of that dynamic?
Or like if she causes issues, yeah.
I gotcha. Separation in the family.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's actually happened to me. Yeah, as well.
And I won't stand for it because my family's been my rock. And they say it takes a village. Well, my family is a small village. You know, we all help out with my sister's kids. They love us, you know, especially me. I'm apparently the favorite uncle, which is great.
This
but
I will probably say will not make it into one of the clips. I'm gonna do my best to put this not in a clip what I'm about to say. So this was just an added bonus for those people who actually watched the full episode, because I know my mom's probably not one of those people. My ex, speaking of things that just destroy family dynamics, I found out after the fact of her leaving and everything else. She hated my dog so much, she would put chemicals in his water and try to poison him and kill him so that he wouldn't drink the water all day and die.
I would kill her. I would kill a woman if they did that to my dog.
And I didn't find out until after the fact that she literally abused him every day that I was at work.
Is this one that I know?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care if this sounds bad. I don't care if this gets me in trouble.
I didn't know how to react to that.
I will kill a woman if she tries to hurt my dog like that.
Yeah.
Unprovoked. Absolutely 100%. Like,
no.
You want to see crazy.
Yeah. Just putting it out there is there are all kinds of women out there. I've dealt with them. You've dealt with them. That should be a good enough reason for why we have to speak about the bad behavior that women have, because they'll do some crazy ass shit like that.
And Koa was such a good dog. He was
Now
he's
great. Gone crazy, and I don't know if it's old age or poisoning. God. Bleach in his water.
I would kill somebody over that if they tried to hurt
things
my
in
dog.
his food, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
I had no idea. I'm just like, why are you not drinking your water, buddy? I come home and the bowl's full.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They're gonna find you in some kind of accident that they can't prove. Like, that's
crazy.
Beyond crazy.
So that's I don't know if that's a good ending point.
Like, subscribe, comment,
definitely interact with the videos. For the love of God, we need some more of those. Yeah.
If you guys have anything you want us to talk about, or if you have any disagreements,
more questions.
send more questions. If you want to talk about anything, discuss anything you disagree with us, let us know.
We're always looking for new topics.
Mm-hmm.
See what else we can talk about, and because we're kind of going over a lot of the same stuff now at this point.
I mean, that's
dating in general. It's always going to be. We need more just specific scenarios, like I'm going to this place and I've seen this thing and this thing is happening because of XYZ. Okay, now we can address more specifics, right, than just the broad paintbrush stroke.
So guys watching that talked to you during the live stream about dating the Christian girl.
Oh yeah, I do need updates on that.
Please, I need updates.
I need to.
I want to hear about this.
I'm gonna have to go live on TikTok again and try to get more people hop in that.
But yeah. So we're working on going live more. Well, he is, because he's the guru. I'm not. I'm just
we can meet up more throughout the week and go live. We can. That's an option. But it's mostly I'm free during the days and you're free at nights, and it's tricky.
Well, I mean, we're both free on Saturdays typically.
For the most part. For a limited time, yeah. I mean, I'm not free, but I can be on some Saturdays, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, working on getting more just short form content out. We've hit a few roadblocks with panel stuff, but we're working on logistics.
Roadblocks on that, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on logistics with that. So that's hopefully will still be in the works, but
it's always an option.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's
it.
That's pretty much it.
And we'll wrap it here, and we'll see you next week.
Gotta walk the talk and sing the rhyme. Confidence so heavy it stops time. Eyes on the prize, yeah, that's the line.